Hi, I have your file in front of me and I'm sorry for the confusion, but I want to explain something. Okay, so make sure that all the layers stay locked, the main layers, so your clicky layer must stay locked. Your example layer must stay locked and your template layer must stay locked. So I had told you something a little wrong. It wasn't wrong, but because it was such an early movie, I probably should do an updated movie, of course. But I'm going to click to the Your layer. Now what you're going to do is do what I did in my example layer, which was to create 3 versions of each shape as you progress with each shape. So I said that correctly. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to pretend I'm you. So I'm in the Your layer. All right, and I'm going to hit the M key and I'm going to start making a rectangle. Now, I filled it with green because I had left the clicky on, I clicked to it, I took the eyedropper and I sampled the clicky copy color. Okay, so you can see there's the clicky copy color. All right, so now that's my first hat file. Okay, so obviously I would have done it over here, over that hat. But let me now turn this off. So meaning the clicky copies. Okay, so in the Your layer, we've started with the hat. Now, how you get your layer to look like my example layer is like the following. So let's pretend that I actually worked this rectangle to be the hat. And what I'm going to do is, and this is how I'm going to pretend doing it. I'm going to go throw away this one for right now. You wouldn't, of course. And I'm going to go into the example layer and temporarily unlock everything in there. So you can see how I now have unlocked all my hat stuff. Because what I want to do is make a copy of everything. So ignore what I'm doing, kind of. All right, so I'm going to make a copy of this by going Control C and Control F. Now I'm going to move those up into and pretend that this is what you've created. Okay, so I'm going to close my example layer and lock it. Now pretend you never did that. Okay, all right, now I'm going to turn off all the eyeballs here. So do you see how, and I'm turning off my example layer. Okay, so let's pretend that you've been working in the Your layer and you started with this shape, which was a simple version. Let me hit the U key and hold Command or Control, and you can see this is the simple version of the hat. And I worked the whole rectangle like the movie shows you to make the hat. Once I got it to this stage, I recommend that you make a safe copy of it. So you see how this is named safe number 1? Well, all I did was pick it up and drag it to the new layer icon to make safe number 2, which I renamed. Now I'm going to Control Z or Command Z back to show you that I have these 3 finished, including the finished hat, which is on top, the one I'm just clicking on. So I'm going to click on the meshes just to show you something. Okay, so there's the simple ones, the bottom one. There's the next more complex one, and there's the next more complex one. Now what I'm going to do to show you how to make those groups is you shift click on all 3 of your circles over here. See that? You just hit Control or Command G. Now you name that hat. And you're finished with the hat, right? Well, now you lock it. So the only thing unlocked is the Your layer, which now you can move over and you can do the arm. So you would take a rectangle and you would start with the arm, just like I wanted you to here, okay? And of course now you would follow the movie for the arm, and you see here how I have my initial arm. So I would take the U key and I would click my center lines just like this. All right, now I would hit the E key and put that in place and turn it and then start creating the arm because I have the center lines in there. Well, that would end up being my safe arm number 1. All right, and now I'll work it, and you know that I've told you that you can control or command click the eyeball to turn it into wireframes, so you can now do what I do in the movie to make the arm work, but you're not going to finish the arm completely with only one shape. Okay, this is how you're going to actually finish the arm. So I'm opening up and unlocking my arm layer, and guess what? I have 3 arms. Okay, an easy one here. You can see the easy one. Let me unlock it and show it. So there's the easy arm, which is the simple arm. There's the next one more complex than the next one. Now I'll turn off the eyeball so you can see what I'm talking about. So there's your simple arm. There's the one that's got a little bit more complex shape, which I duplicated and called it safe number 2. Then when I got to this stage, to get it to that stage, I duplicated it and I just left it as the top one. Okay, so you would then shift click on all 3 circles. Of course you would be working, having them all on. You have to turn them all on, Brian, and then shift click them and then Control G group them, and then you would have an arm sub layer. It's really a group, but it's a sub layer of your main parent layer. Okay, now without getting really confusing here, you of course wouldn't have to ever unlock the example layer. Just continue working on the your layer, and then when you get your 3 arms in there, shift click on all the circles and group them, and then go on in the same your layer and start working on the shoe. Okay, so hopefully that explained everything. Let me know if it didn't.